Welcome to the Militia Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Trigger Militia, and today we're going to talk about a game I was so excited to play, Need for Speed Heat, what's new in Call of Duty, and we look back at the game releases for 2019 as we head into the end of the year. But first, let me introduce my beautiful co-hosts. On my right, he's actually 21, even though he sounds 41, Toolbag Teeter. And on my left, don't try and race him. The torque will melt your face in. It won't be even because his name is Steven, but we call him Kyle. None of that rhymes with Subaru, so boo. It's Steven Militia. Let's go.
That's pretty good.
Oh my god, that's two podcasts in a row where I have rhymed my ass off, and I tell you what, I've never written a poem in my life. So
maybe you should start.
It's a shame.
I need to start writing.
Wrong business.
So yeah, exactly. So as we discussed before the podcast started, we're gonna go off script today. We're gonna throw the papers up in the air and just have a conversation because maybe that's a little more natural and it feels good. Just like Teeter's doctor visit today. Oh my god, I'm on fire.
That was good.
We'll get to the doctor visit later. I think we added that to the show notes as topic number 7.
Did you really?
Teeter grabbing his own ass. Yeah, of course we did.
What?
So we'll get to that later. We're gonna have to hear that story before we shut her down today. Let's go ahead and skip what we've been playing. We all know we've been playing a lot of Call of Duty, Need for Speed, and then I picked up Destiny for like a couple of hours when you guys weren't on, and then Teeter and I have been playing some Apex. So that's about it. Let's jump right into Need for Speed Heat because Need for Speed Heat has been phenomenal. It is a much better game than the previous like 2 or 3 Need for Speeds that I can recognize. I don't know. I didn't play Payback, which everybody was pissed off about. Teeter, did you play Payback at all?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was like good in like some aspects that they brought more like events. Because I think the game prior 2015, it was just all like road racing. This one had drifting, dragging, normal street races, off-road races, and they had like a bunch of DLC you can have. I don't know, but in terms of like how they delivered it and like they forced you to like partake in those kind of story missions, kind of sucked if you didn't like that style of racing or you're like really bad at it. But other than that,
okay,
I guess it was okay.
So they forced you to do story missions? Because like in this one, like you could do whatever the hell you want, like literally just drive around and wreck cars if you want.
Right, but I mean, from what I can remember, I'm not sure because when you know how you customize your car,
yeah,
of like aesthetics and stuff. Well, how Payback did
Right.
it, you unlocked like a new tire by completing, I don't know, like 5 3-star drift zones, or by I'm not sure if they did story missions, but I know they did a lot of like side, I guess you can call them tasks or missions to unlock like all the customizations. So everything was like locked, which sucked.
Okay, so it was like a specific. So it wasn't like in this one you have like your rep level, right? And you have to like level up your rep level in order to unlock the part, and then you have to race during the day and earn money in order to buy that part. So it wasn't like that at all. Like you had to do specific missions to unlock specific parts or something like that. Like if you want to drift tires, you had to do drift sections or something.
Yeah, you just reminded me. The biggest thing that sucked about that game was you can't just go to like, oh, your crankshaft, I'm just gonna get Elite Plus. To do that, they had like a lottery system, like cards. So it's like you would go to like the part shop is what they would call it, and then you could choose which category, like which part you want, and then like 3 slots will spin. It would give you the brand, the like the bonus, like the add-on bonus to that part, like maybe it was like nitrous or like acceleration or something, and then what kind it was, like the rarity of it. That's the only way you could upgrade your car. You couldn't choose what you wanted exactly. It was all random.
Dude, that honestly sounds like ass. Like I'm
It was
really
ass.
glad I didn't play that at all. The feedback that I've been getting on some of the like posts I've been making on Instagram and stuff have been like, oh my god, it's so much better than Payback. Like it seems like everybody just hated Payback. I don't know. I'm kind of glad I didn't play it.
Yeah, he didn't miss much.
Well, as far as like that's how kind of the leveling works, but as far as like the way the game is structured, I'm kind of disappointed with the length of the game. It seems like they could have made it a little longer or possibly made it to where there was no level cap, maybe. Like I don't know, it just seems once you get to level 50 and you do the high heat races and then you unlock all of the ultimate plus and ultimate parts, like then what do you do? Like you try to go like 100% each zone, like you're trying to do all the drifts and all of the time trials and all of the speed traps and all that. Like do you just go back and do all of that? Like I don't have the desire to do that. I would much rather have more levels, you know? Or do you just like constantly do the same races over again and level up your crew? Like I don't know. It seems to me like the game was really short. It's really good. Like the gameplay that it has to me was really good, but it's really short. And like I wanted more. I feel like I'm done with the game is what I'm saying. You know, I've only been playing it for like 2 weeks.
Right.
So,
Well,
I don't know.
maybe they did that on purpose. Like they add like DLC, like you know they'll add more events or like more races, or they'll like do a full like DLC story. You know, I don't. Did you complete
Yeah.
the story?
No, actually, I that was the one thing I didn't complete was the story because I started having so much fun racing at night and running from the cops and upgrading my rep level and then trying to get the next parts, and none of that is linked to the story at all. So you can level up your car to the max, you can get to the max rep level, you can have the most money, you can have millions of dollars and still be on like the second story mission. So when you go back and do those story missions, you're obviously way overpowered. And then it just
Yep.
becomes kind of boring. You're just like, you win by, you know, a mile or two. And it's, I don't know, it just seems pointless. So I have zero desire to go back
Is
into
it-
the story missions.
Is there a lot of cars? Like, how do you unlock the cars in the game?
By your rep level.
The cars are just, actually, it's money, right? Like you don't have to
No.
have,
No, it's rep.
You don't. Oh, so
Okay,
just
okay.
by rep level, and then. So I was gonna say
Yeah.
maybe they went kind of like Horizon was, where like once you beat the game or whatever, there's still all these cars, and you keep racing, get money, and unlock different cars and stuff like that. But I don't know.
I feel the only thing like the campaign like awards you of like completing like story missions is like specific cars, stuff like the story characters, like their cars, like that's it. You can unlock like all
Yeah.
the cars just by getting rep. Like they'll have like brackets, so you can have like like 5 or 6 cars in a bracket that like once you hit like rep level 24, they'll come like available to you. Which I think is weird how they did that. Is
Yeah.
like I know there's like cars like the GTI, like the Miata, like just like kind of like the I guess quote unquote lower tiered cars that are cheap. Why are they like so far unlocked on like the rep level spectrum? Shouldn't that be like more towards like the beginner side to save more of like the high end
Yeah.
cars for later?
Yeah, I agree. I think they kind of the front end of the unlocking cars. It is the cheaper cars, like you can tell. Like the first car is isn't it like that truck? Oh no, it's the Beetle. It's the like the 76 Beetle or whatever it is. It's like that old
Yeah.
bug. And then there's like that old truck, and then there's like the old GTI. Like there's some things in there at the beginning, but like you're right. There's like the Miata, the like the 240 or the Subaru BRZ. Like that stuff is all like in the middle, which seems like those are more like entry level cars compared to like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. You know,
I'm just gonna throw a guess. I think that's just because desirable cars for the style of the game it is, just from watching gameplay and like like the drifting and everything like that, like all that stuff you do with like a Miata or a BRZ or a 240 or different cars like that. Maybe that's why they threw them in later, where you got to be higher level to unlock the more like desire, like car that fits that.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll say,
yeah, I get it. Go ahead, Teeter.
just adding on to like how you said the game felt short. I wish they kind of brought some aspects from Payback back into Heat, where they had like drift races, where like it didn't matter if you're first or last. It's all about like racking up the points. Like that was always fun to do, like with friends and stuff like that. Just to go on these super twisty like mountain roads and just slide your car around. Now you just have like these little like 500-foot like drift sections. Like that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much inspiration they took from Forza Horizon 3 and 4, because I don't know if you guys played them, but 4 in particular was actually, both 3 and 4 did the same thing, but they had these short sections, like really short, even shorter than the Need for Speed ones, that are like just drift as much as you can in these little sections. And like there's all these like little things along the map where you would go and do, and it's like almost exactly like the Need for Speed. So I don't know if they took a lot of inspiration from that, because Forza Horizon 3 and 4 were extremely popular, like extremely well received. So I don't know. I think they were just maybe drawing some I want to call it inspiration because I'm being nice, but it seems like they copied them. So I don't know.
Yep, I don't know. I haven't played Need for Speed. It looks really fun though.
Yeah, you should get it.
It definitely is. I think that there's a certain type of racer that plays Need for Speed, like a person that likes racing games. Like if you're really into Forza Motorsport, but you don't really like Forza, but you don't really like Forza Horizon, you're probably not going to like Need for Speed. Also, if you're like a diehard Forza Horizon fan, you might not like Need for Speed, because Forza actually like has you drive the cars. This is silly. I mean, it's super
more
silly.
arcadey.
Like super arcadey. Like you can drive into a corner doing 120, you hit X and just power slide around the turn like nothing, like 90 miles an hour. Like it's something it's so silly, but to me that's like really fun. I had a great time doing that. Like that's super fun. Like just slam into the car in front of you, the NPC car, and just take the turn on the inside and slam into them, use them as a brake, and then take off. Like that's super fun to me. Like if they were to up the damage on the cars or something like that to make it more realistic, I'd be like, this sucks because I want to hit that turn at 120.
Yeah.
Because that's fun. You know, it's the same reason why I don't like fall damage in fucking Call of Duty. Like, that's not fun, Call of Duty. It's not fun.
No, it's always been there. Actually, I can't say always, with a couple of the Black Ops with like the jetpack things. I don't think it was there as much, right?
No.
Right. Well, I don't think it was. But it has always been there, but like there hasn't been a lot of things to fall off of. Like there was like maps where you'd fall into water and stuff like that. But like name a map that you would get to a place in Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare 2, 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. Name a map where you'd like actually get to a place where you could fall off and die. Like I can't name any. Maybe one of the desert maps where there's like a cave and you can fall. Like I don't know, man. I just don't think
it was just like straight fall damage.
It was never that. Yeah,
like that?
It was never that. Yeah, like fall damage, like not falling off the map. Like obviously, if you fall off the map, that's one thing. But
I think like Modern Warfare 2, like high rise. I think it was called like
there's a couple spots.
Like like the cranes and stuff. If you jumped like off the top of those down, you would die. But other than that, like if you jump from like the second story window, it like damaged you like half health maybe based on like the screen visuals.
Yeah, like the windows. Yeah, a couple of the windows and stuff like that, they would hurt you a little bit. Not too bad though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's been there. It just hasn't been as heavy. Like this Call of Duty, they went pretty heavy with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just particularly
the realism.
Yeah, they went really real. Really real.
It doesn't and it doesn't really make any sense. Like I feel like I'm all for the realism on like the sound design. I love the realism in the sound design. We talked about that last podcast, but like make that as real as you want. Mm-hmm. But fall damage is not a fun component of any game. Like the fact that Apex has no fall damage is so exciting to me. It's like, yeah, just jump off this cliff and it's fine because it's a video game, you know. But like, come on, Call of Duty, like that seems silly. I want to jump out the second story window.
I think it got to the point where like you were talking about before the Call of Duty came out, and a lot of other people and stuff. Everybody had the same kind of like, well, it's another Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, I've played Call of Duty since the first Call of Duty, and they're all kind of the same game, this and that. I feel like they wanted to switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, but I think they switched it up a little bit too far.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, you gotta try something out when the word goes around, you know, where it's like, fuck, like, yeah, we'll probably play it for a little bit and then drop it off like the last one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Call of Duty, but I don't think, I guess, quote unquote, realism, like, should be in Call of Duty, because it's a Call of Duty game, you know? It's not supposed to be a super realistic tactical shooter, you know? It's supposed to be just like, I wouldn't say running gun, but you know what I mean? It's supposed to be like more fast-paced combat. You know, you die, run a little bit, find some more combat. It's just like, you could just play it and relax. But if you want like something more tactical, you know, you could play like Rainbow Six Siege, where it's like the bullet damage and the quick TTK and the accuracy. Like, those are games that are meant to be like tactical, not Call of Duty. Like, it just feels kind of like wrong, like it's misplaced. Or like if they took the settings they have now and just kind of like dialed them back just, you know, a little bit, I think it would be perfect balance between like realism and like just a fun, fast-paced like arcadey shooter. Like, you need to find like that good like balance point. Right now it's too far on the realism, so it's like only catering to like I would say like 15% of the community.
I don't know, call me weird or whatever, but I really like this Call of Duty. I've been playing it a lot. And after these last couple patches that they've done, they fixed a lot of the major issues. And have you? When was the last time you played, Teeter?
I think like last week.
Have you played since?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Because they fixed a lot of like the dumb things like the chatter, like the voice chatter. You know, like your player may call outs and they fixed that so the other team can't hear it. And like,
oh really?
So the other team can't hear it now, and they fixed claymores a little bit.
Like how?
Oh, and footsteps. They fixed the footsteps a lot, dude. Like they're more, because remember before, like, you could be somewhere and you can hear somebody running from the other side of the map, whereas now it's more like regional based on like what does it say here? Increased on the percentage of filtered footsteps behind geometry, and they adjusted the volume at distance. So now it's like, you know, if they're behind the building, it's gonna sound different. It's not gonna sound like
it's gonna be like more muffled,
stuff like that. And it actually, yeah, I've noticed it since that was the very first patch that they did. That helped out a lot. And with the claymores, what they did was they gave it less damage when you shoot the claymore. Because before, you would shoot the claymore from a distance, and you would just freaking die anyway. Yeah, if you open the door and you see the claymore, and you know the only angle you're able to shoot it at, you would die. So they fixed it to where it did less damage then, and they also reduced the damage and the trigger radius of them. So that way, you know, you can get a little bit closer to them. Yeah. Nice. They fixed those, so those aren't as bad. But the new thing now, though, since they fixed the claymores, is everybody uses the proximity mines.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like those aren't as bad though. You can like dodge those. Remember like the bouncing betties? You can always just like lay prone. They won't kill you.
Yeah. Me and Mike were actually just testing that yesterday. If you crouch, it takes almost all your health, but you don't die from it. But the problem is, though, that I've always noticed, is they always go off while I'm sprinting at something. So I'm like sprinting through somewhere, and I see a little thing go off, and I try to crouch. I end up like sliding. I don't know, and I end up dying anyways. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. We were testing it out yesterday actually. We went into a private match, put one like down, and then he would just crouch and walk up to it, and it was like, I don't know, it damaged him a lot but didn't kill him, which means if you get hit, if you crouch, you're gonna die anyway because the guy that's nearby is gonna hear it go off. you're going to be damaged, and he's likely going to kill you with one bullet. So you're probably going to die anyway. So the move obviously is to prone. If you hear it, just hold B and prone. But how many of us are sprinting through a door, hear a fucking Betty go off, or what are they called? Proximity mine go off, and immediately think, I'm going to hold B, because you literally have like, I don't know, 4/10 or 5/10 of a second to react and hold B,
right.
Otherwise you're gonna get hit. So
Yeah.
I don't know. They're cool. I mean, I would much rather die to a proximity mine though than a claymore that I shoot from pretty far away and then like still die because the explosion is, the radius or the blast damage radius is too high. Like, I'm pretty glad that they did fix that. And I did, what I didn't notice playing over the last few days, but now that you say it, it totally makes sense. And the footsteps are way better. Like, the footsteps worked out of control, and they are way better, like 100% better. You can still hear them, but if anybody on your team is chattering, like if they talk at all, it's pretty hard to hear them because they are really faint, which is the way they should be. So I don't know. I thought that they did a pretty good job there. What were the other changes? Like, they did some stuff to the guns, didn't they?
Yeah, so the very first patch they brought out, it seemed like it was all the major issues everybody was complaining about. Like I said, the claymores, the footsteps. They gave you more recoil while you mount on things. They got rid of the battle chatter, and with the weapons, the 7.25, of course. They nerfed the one-shot range, the ADS time, and it says that they did other fine-tuning fixes. But even after that,
whatever
it was still
that
broken.
means.
Yes, it was still broken after that. The M4 was a huge, super OP gun. So what they did with that was they gave it more recoil and a little less range. And then a couple other things like pistols. They made the pistols have a little more damage range. And they gave the Uzi a buff and a Dragunov, and the Kar 98 got a little buff. But then there was still some issues, so then they dropped another patch a couple days later trying to fix the little issues and some of the other ones. Like Piccadilly. You remember the Piccadilly map? How
Oh my god.
all the spawning and everything was terrible on it?
Horrible.
I think that
maze.
map's just broken in general. No matter how much they they fix it,
Try to fix it.
it's just a poor, like the way the map's
layout's
designed,
weird.
there's the way the map's laid out, there's no real fixing the spawning on it. So it says that they fixed the spawns in Team Deathmatch and Domination, but from my experience, it's still pretty bad. And then they also moved the Domination flag, the B flag, where it used to be on the fountain. Now it's in the middle of the buses, like the little alley of buses that you can run through. It's in there now, which was apparently supposed to help. I still think it's, I don't know, that map's just bad. It's bad for any game mode you play on.
Wait, you're right. They did move. I haven't played Domination since the patch, so I don't really know. But so they moved the B flag from the fountain, which was closer to A, to the buses, which is closer to C.
It's
like,
just to the right
kind of.
of
What do you-
where it was. Like, like the little lane of buses you could run through? It's right in the middle of there.
I know.
But
Yeah, I
the
know where it's at, but
problem
like,
is that the buses are open on the A side. So like if you're like where the scaffolding is, you can look straight up into the buses. But then it's a closed
Right.
in on C side over there where like you can only come in on the left side to get into it. I don't know, it's weird. That map, I just don't like that map. But they
They
tried
just need to
fix
overhaul it.
that. Yeah, they tried to fix the map, but I don't know. In my opinion, it's still kind of messed up. And then
You know what they could do to fix it?
What's that?
You just put the fountain, like they can just like keep the map how it is, just remove all the buses, right? Put the fountain in the middle and make like that road that all the buses are parked, like a roundabout or something like that. Like put them on the outsides of the fountain, and then you can have like a traditional 3-lane. It's like good cover and
Yeah, that might work. I think the problem is just that A side spawn. Like it's just a straight back alley, just a straight road that goes back.
Yeah, and you can see straight to
there's
C
a-
with that, can't you?
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, kind of. C's kind of tucked in the back though. But like that's the problem with A though, is that there's only one way out. You know what I mean? Like you spawn in, you can only run right to the middle of the map. like right at the end of the A is basically the middle of the map.
Yeah.
There's that back alley that goes through the stores, the shops on the
Yeah.
right side of A. But even that, dude, it leads you, just basically dumps you right out into the middle of the map, you know? So it doesn't even seem like they can fix it there. Like, you have that side, and then you have the arcade, which again dumps you right into the middle of the map.
Right into
so
the same spot, yeah.
into that same area, even though it's kind of wide there, but it's still in the same area. So I don't know. And also, I'm not a game designer. I don't know how easy it is to just be moving buses and taking shit out and moving roads. But like, they got to do something, or just take the map out of rotation and give us like, if they like right now, if they traded that for like Favela, I'd be super happy.
Ew.
Like, really, just trade it for that map, or like, what's the
Summit.
God, why can't like Summit, or what's the airport map from like Modern Warfare 2? God, why can't I think of it?
Terminal?
Anyway, Terminal.
Oh,
Well, just
yeah.
give us fucking Terminal, dude, and just and get rid of this Piccadilly bullshit.
It's a
But
great
I don't
map.
know. It's whatever. I think if at this point, if they tried to give us an old map, people would be super stoked. No one would be like, we paid $60 for a brand new Call of Duty and we got old Call of Duty. I think everyone would just be super stoked. Like, fuck yeah, Terminal's dope.
Yeah,
That's
give us
true,
a dope
especially
map.
for an MW2 throwback. I don't think did they ever give us like a Modern Warfare 2 throwback map in any of the Call of Duties?
I don't think so,
God, I don't
honestly. No, I'm trying to think of different maps that we got a throwback from, but I think they were all mostly like Black Ops. I think all the Black Ops
Yeah.
kept doing like throwback maps. I don't think the Modern
Yeah,
Warfare
it's
side.
Activision. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so they can't give us Summit then because that's Activision. I think. I don't think they can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Dang.
I don't know.
But even-
Either way,
Oh,
the
go ahead.
maps, like, I was just gonna say, the maps are just they're just not they're just not designed for what we've been
what everybody's been
brainwashed
used
to think
yeah.
is the best for like 10 years. Like, this is the reason why I played Call of Duty, because it was fast, 3 lanes. Like, that's the whole reason I played. I didn't want to like have to check every fucking window. I know that they're going to come right around this fucking corner, because they always come around this corner, and I'm going to be the fastest to shooting at their head. Like, that's the reason why I played Call of Duty. So this like sudden switch to realism, or more realistic approach, I should say, is like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's why Shoot House is great. Like, I enjoy playing Shoot House so much, dude. Like, so much. Like, it's just
Shoot House is good.
it feels like playing like the older Call of Duties. Just
Yeah, well, it's like a new
Yeah.
kind
really
of touch
fast
to
3
it.
lane. Mm-hmm. Yep, I like that. What was I saying? Back to the patch, like I was saying, after the first one, and then the second patch that came through, there was still the 725 was still broken. After all that work, they said they did do it.
Right.
They reduced the range on it again, and then they also fixed the M4 a little bit more, because it was still just melting everything.
Yeah, which I have to say,
And-
I can't remember the last time I got killed by an M4. And we've been playing
Yeah.
quite a bit the last few days. I cannot remember the last time. Like, it's every once in a while, yes, but it's very, very rare now. I get killed a lot by the
Everybody-
725 still,
Uh-huh.
or
Yes.
I get killed by like a P90.
The Kilo.
I get killed by the Kilo. I get killed by that a lot. I get killed by the what's that other submachine gun they just buffed? The one you're using?
Oh, the MP5 or the AUG. The AUG.
The AUG. Yeah, the
Yeah,
AUG.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get killed by the AUG and the MP5. Like, it seems to be kind of spread out, but still, number one by a mile is the 725.
The
So,
725,
sorry, I
yeah.
interrupted. But
No,
go
you're
ahead. What
good.
else?
No, you're good. Yeah. Oh, they made the FAL usable. They made the FAL
Oh
usable.
no, I haven't tried it.
You haven't tried it yet?
Fuck.
Oh my god.
No, I haven't tried it.
Because it still has all the damage that it's had, so the gun's actually it's really good now. I mean, I use it every once in a while, but they made it so
Damn.
you can freaking control it before, your second shot, you're staring at the sky. But
Oh, jeez.
yeah, they fixed it now
true.
to where it's not a laser, but I mean, it's controllable. It works.
So is it
That's
like the
actually
old school,
really
like,
exciting.
like type
Yeah.
recoil?
Yeah, it is.
Kind of spam
actually.
it a little
Mm-hmm.
bit.
It's good. It's good. I like that now. So then they redid those guns. They fixed a little bit of those, and they fixed a couple of the issues with like your challenges not, like it's not showing the progression on your challenges.
Yep.
They
Had
fixed
a
that
big
a little
problem with
bit.
that.
Mm-hmm. And they
Yep.
also fixed, which in my experience has been working, is they fixed the crashes, your game crashing. I haven't crashed once since these updates, which is great.
Come to think of it, I have not crashed at all since the update as well. So
Yep.
bravo, they did fix that.
Yep. And then just a couple days ago, they dropped the third patch of the month, which is crazy. They've really been trying to fix their game. Apparently, there was an exploit where people were duplicating their kill streaks. I didn't know about that,
What?
but they fixed that
Oh,
apparently.
yeah.
I didn't know anything
Yep.
about that, but I'm reading it right now, and yep, they fixed that apparently.
So,
And,
real quick story.
yeah.
So the exploit for the kill streaks, a lot of it, I don't think we experienced much of it because it was happening a lot in Ground War. Because it's like, obviously Ground War is a little bit easier to get your kill streaks. There's just a lot more people, and you can kind of hide and snipe and do all that. So my buddy Dave from Instagram, I say Dave from Instagram like that's his name. His name is Dave Loves Games. Dave from Instagram. Anyway, my buddy made a video about this where you could get a nuke like super easy because you had to like combine I forget how it went, but you were using your kill streaks to get a kill streak that then counted as kills for your next kill streak, like how it kind of used to be back in like Modern Warfare 2, where you could use your chopper gunner to get to nuke. It was kind of like
right?
that.
Point
Yeah,
man.
it was the perk. Yeah, exactly. And so you use that to get, and and the whole time you're just riding around in a tank. So he has like game footage of like getting nukes like super easy on Ground War, and he put out a video on it, and then it got patched like right afterwards. So he was kind of disappointed. But anyway, sorry, back to that.
No, that's good. It's a good story because I had no idea how it worked. I didn't even know it was a thing. You can just there's an exploit to duplicate kill streaks. I'm like, damn. I didn't even get to try
Should've
it.
known that.
I'm just kidding.
Right. Right.
And apparently they fixed the misspelling of trophy.
Oh, thank
Are you serious?
the Lord, baby Jesus.
That's what it says. Fixed misspelling of trophy. So trophy system must have been spelled wrong. I never noticed it.
Oh my God.
And it fixed
It's
the whole bunch of
honestly
challenges-
hilarious.
Challenges. And like maybe 10 or so challenges, I guess, had problems with them that they fixed. It doesn't list what the problems were, just the following challenges have been fixed.
Got
All
it.
right.
I think one of the challenges I think
And-
that they're talking about like the camos. Because another one of them was like get like a kill shortly after like reloading or something like that. I'm pretty sure they like increased the duration of like after the reload, how much time you had to get
Yeah.
a kill.
Oh,
for it
okay.
to
Yeah,
count.
maybe.
I heard Shaw talking about it.
Maybe. And then they fixed up the 725 again, nerfed it more, which it might have helped it a tiny bit, but in my opinion, the gun's just broken. It's just a broken gun. But they said, they've already reduced the one-shot damage, and then the second patch they reduced the range, and in this patch, they did a small reduction to the base weapon damage range, and then they significantly reduced the damage range added by attachments, and they did an increase to the hip fire spread and reduced effective damage at the hip.
Sounds like-
And-
So that-
Like a good nerf.
yeah, but the
Yeah.
gun's still broken.
Yeah, but they
Like
can't.
it is.
They can't nerf it so the gun's trash. Because I mean, there's like 3 or 4 other shotguns
No,
that
but-
other people just use that are more powerful. It's a double barrel.
Yeah, but that's
They
what I'm
should wreck.
saying. They should. I guess you're right about that, but at the same time, it's like how much better that shotgun is compared to all the other shotguns. Like it's crazy. Like that gun, not even all the other shotguns. I mean, you can't go up against that thing with anything unless you're sniping them across the map. But even then, you're gonna get fucking pegged by it.
You know what they could do?
Yeah.
Is they increase the time between shots. Like if they nerf it just a little bit, so it's kind of you have to be accurate with your first shot to
Oh,
like, do,
yeah.
like a headshot upper body. But it's like if you hit them like lower abdomen, kind of like leg area, it'll just hit marker, and so it'll take your second shot, would, maybe like half a second. I don't know.
Or
Just a
yeah,
thought.
or like a reload speed or something. Maybe also slow that down a
Yeah.
tiny bit. Yeah, that might help.
I don't know, man. The reload speed is pretty fucking slow on that gun. Like, if
Is
you
it? I
notice
don't
how
use
people
it,
play
so-
with that, yeah, dude. If you noticed how people play with that gun, like I've watched some of the kill cams and like what the player is doing after they, like immediately after they kill me. Some good players with that will shoot me once and I'll die. Bad players will miss the first shot and hit me with the second one, and they have to immediately reload. If you check that guy's stats at the end of the game, he is even or slightly above even. They are never like I guarantee you they're getting killed like right after they get the kill, or while they're reloading, because it takes
Gotcha.
forever to load that fucking gun. So I don't know if that's gonna deter people from using it or not, but like it's already kind of crazy there. But I do like the idea of making it slower firing between rounds, because then it's a little bit more critical that you hit that first shot, because if not, you're probably going to die. The TTK in this Call of Duty is super short. Like I've been really hard on that subject. I feel like since the game came out, I think the TTK is way too short. But that's because I've been playing Apex, which has like shields, and Destiny, which has tons of shields and then health, and then
Yeah.
that the games I've been playing have been like you really have to dump clips into people to
You
kill
gotta
them.
hit a
So
couple
maybe
clips
this
on
is
them,
like regular Call of Duty, and I'm just not used to it. I don't know. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. But that's pretty much it for their patches that they've done. I mean, they balanced the AUG a little bit, which in my opinion it didn't need. The AUG was already a beast, and then they gave it more damage at close range, mid-range damage, but then they reduced the chest multiplier on it. But if the gun feels the same to me though, I haven't noticed anything else. Yeah, other than that, they just kind of fixed small bugs that not a lot of people have had, but enough to where it needs a fix.
right. Well, so Kyle, coming from someone who actually enjoys this Call of Duty, do you think post patch the game is where it needs to be, or there's some other changes that they need to make, and not necessarily like to particular guns or whatever? Like, we know the 725 is broken, but like, do you think the game is where it should be, and this is where they intended it to be at launch even?
Yeah, I mean maybe where it's at now is a lot better from where it was at launch. So I mean, I don't know. There's just the only things that, in my opinion, that suck are just certain maps that are just broken. Spawning wise and things like that, and certain weapons that they keep fixing but that don't get fixed. It seems like, but I mean, I don't know. As far as just the actual problems that the game had, such as the footsteps, they fixed that. The call outs that let the enemies know whenever you're
they were
staring at
horrible.
them. They fixed that issue. And then just I don't know. I feel like the game's I don't know. I really enjoy the game, so I think it's in a good spot right now.
It feels better for sure, and I'm like, from my point of view, I have not been enjoying the game very much. I feel like it's not that fun. I had, a game I had a blast with Call of Duty wise was World War II. I thought World War II was great, and I don't know, maybe I was just like better at it or something, but like I really liked World War II, and then this one just feels like a departure from the standard Call of Duty formula. And I don't know, maybe it needed that. I don't know, but it just feels like it's so different, and I want it to be something so different, or so the same. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I got used to it.
that being said,
Now I like it a lot more. But it definitely doesn't feel like your standard Call of Duty.
No,
No,
they
it
could have like
doesn't.
removed the name Call of Duty, and like you wouldn't think it was Call of Duty other than like the
Yeah.
way like players move around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you don't hold
'Cause-
it to the Call of Duty name, like yeah, say you named it a different game, the game itself, it's a really good shooter game in my opinion. It's a really fun, really good game. I like it. It doesn't
Mhm.
feel like Call of Duty, but I mean, hey, it's a great game.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I think I just need to like let that go a little bit. Like I'll admit, I am holding it to the Call of Duty name because it is a Call of Duty, and there's so many differences, like the maps, the guns, the way it feels, all the things we talked about. But in addition to that, the biggest change that I've noticed is that they are actually going to be giving you free DLC. Like they're actually committing to that model. Like this has been Call of Duty is the juggernaut franchise in the gaming industry. They don't have to give anything away, you know, and that to me says either number one, the people that were playing Call of Duty when it was really, really at its highest point, like Black Ops 2, 1, Modern Warfare 3, like that middle of the franchise, like when it was really good. The people that were playing it then are not playing it as much now. Like those people are like me and you guys. Like we played it at that point. So I don't know that we're playing it as much now, although, you know, Kyle, you are. But like to me, the biggest change was that it's the fact that they are actually going to go with a free DLC model, and they're going to try to monetize the game in other ways. So I love that part about it. I think that's a super smart approach. But I don't know, maybe they've been forced into submission by these other big games like Apex and Fortnite and, you know, even Destiny. Like maybe they've been forced into having free DLC. I don't know. But I don't know, maybe I should give the game a second chance and just not think of it as Call of Duty and think of it as a shooter and just play it differently, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
it's its own type of game. It's not really it doesn't hold Call of Duty, and it's not quite Battlefield. I don't know. It's like they developed a game that's kind of unique.
I guess you can call it unique. I feel like they took like the best or the worst qualities of a bunch of different games and just kind of threw into like one. You know, you have
Yeah.
like Ground
Yes.
War, which is like Battlefield. Then you have like the tactical aspect. I guess you can kind of say it's like Siege, I guess, in a sense. And then you have like I don't know, you know what I mean? It's just like the random little sprinkle of different game mechanics as to what makes these games so popular into like one melting pot. That's kind of weird until they fine tune it.
Yeah, and by that time, how many gamers are going to check out, you know? Like, I feel like we move on from games so fast now. Like, if it doesn't work, Anthem is a great example. It seems like people were super hyped on Anthem and they just moved on. Like, as soon as it wasn't working like the way that everyone expected it to work, or that it didn't have the length of play that people wanted, they just moved on. And Anthem has been really trying hard to get people back. Same thing with Destiny. It seems like Destiny had a pretty bad launch, and then everybody's like half the player base split, and then just the hardcore players remained. So I don't know that the hardcore Call of Duty players are going to ever leave. Like they just love Call of Duty, so I don't think they'll leave. But everybody else, people that'll, you know, end up spending money on DLCs and things like that, they might not be around. I don't think. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I definitely was one of those people when Destiny when it first came out. I bought it. I grinded it for like a week or two, and I split because it was kind of trash. Since we're talking about different games, we haven't talked about Borderlands 3 in a while.
You're right.
Played
True.
it. I just
Haven't
Googled
played
it,
in a long
and I
time.
guess they have a big patch number 4 that just released today. They have a lot of fixes and features added.
So,
I mean, like huge.
well, talk to me about talk to me about the features. I want to know about those first because I didn't think the game was that broken in my opinion. I thought it was pretty clean. I didn't really find a lot of things that I didn't like about it
Yeah.
in my
Mhm.
experience.
Well, I
But
guess
what did they
they
add to it?
made like the UI, like the menu system, they made it less sluggish. And skimming through here real quick, I know they added something with like the SDU, you know, to increase your inventories and whatnot. So when you first started the game, you had 10. They increased that by 20. So at the very end, you'll have 100 slots like on your character. You can have guns.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for each
That's a
category.
good change.
And they literally have like 30 bullet points of things they fixed for like stability, for like crashes, weird network issues, so on and so forth. Some UI improvements of just the menus, improved performance of the bank. They added a sort by rarity in the bank. They
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. Other stuff seems a little bit more PC oriented. They kind of fixed some missions where like some missions would glitch out. I know they did change something to Mayhem 4 on here somewhere. But anyways, they did a lot of adjusting for each Vault Hunter. Like they did a lot of end game character balancing. By like they fine-tuned like a lot of like the perks within like the perk trees by a substantial amount, as I see here.
Okay. Well, that's kind of good because it seemed like the characters were pretty unbalanced. Like Zane didn't feel like he was that powerful, really. While Mose and Flak were like super OP. So that's cool if they balance the characters. But my question is, what do you do in the game now? Like literally, what do you do? Like you're done with the story, you're max level, you've looked on YouTube already and built the most powerful version of your Vault Hunter. Now what? Like it doesn't seem like there's any tail to that game at all. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I would be looking for. Is there more DLC? Is there new missions that we can go on? Is there a higher level?
There is.
Like, okay,
There are more
what you
missions.
got?
They also they have dedicated loot pools for bosses now. Says all bosses have been updated with new loot pools that give them dedicated legendary items to drop. Players can now
Okay.
discover which bosses drop their favorite gear and more easily farm their favorite items.
Yeah, I think people play it kind of like Destiny, like once you beat all the storyline of it, then you just kind of grind it out and try to unlock the best gear or, all the legendaries and stuff like that. But
Yeah, but
like
Destiny
for
is
me
like
though,
clear
after
cut. It's
yeah,
like
that's what I was
you
saying.
go
Like
in,
after
like
I
you do
beat,
your daily thing. They tell you, oh, go to IO and do like public events, and then do this and that.
yeah,
Borderlands, you just kind of wander around, kind of
yeah.
aimlessly.
After I beat the story and all the side missions and everything, it's like, okay, well there's this mayhem stuff, so I guess I can do that, but I didn't really want to. I didn't. There was nothing pushing me to. Oh man, I need to go get all these legendary guns and this and that. It was just kind of like, well, the game's over. Like,
Yeah, like why
Yeah.
get these legendary guns? Like it's not like there's like an ultimate boss that's like super duper hard. Like that's like super challenge to defeat. Like what's the point of getting these legendary guns besides like bragging
yeah,
rights? You know?
yeah. I don't know. I just didn't really have the urge to grind it out. I wasn't feeling the grind on that game. The game was great. It was super fun playing through the story mission and all the side missions and everything. Really good game, but I just didn't. That was it though. Once it was over for me. I didn't feel the need to
I
Yeah.
agree.
to keep going.
Endgame was weak.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree. I think the end game definitely was weak. I think the difference from my perspective, I have a lot of hours in Destiny. The difference for me was Destiny, although both games actually feel really good to just shoot stuff, because that's what both of them are, Destiny was more about completing the hardest tasks in the game. And to do that, you had to have the highest level gear and the best guns. And it was a combination of that but also you had to combine the combination of having the best gear and the best guns with playing with the right people as well. Like the raid is so difficult. Like you try to go into a raid with a bunch of people that just don't know what they're doing, it is very hard and you're going to waste a lot of time. Like that's a huge challenge. That's a hurdle. So when we were playing Destiny 1, Kyle, I think you played the raids with us.
Yeah.
Right? We did like the vault and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we were doing Destiny 1, we played those raids over and over and over again every single week. When it reset, we were in the fucking raid playing. And we were playing because there was like this small chance that you were going to get this one gun that was going to help you do the raid better. And you wanted to be prepared for the next raid that came out. So we were always doing the raid every Tuesday. You would reset, we would go in, it would be raid day. You would do each raid 3 times on all 3 characters. Like there was this grind that you just wanted to keep doing, which is what I love about Destiny. I wish Borderlands had that because I love Borderlands art style. I love the gunplay. I love the way everything, like the character movement, and like the game just feels really good to play. So yeah, I love doing all these story missions and stuff, but I want puzzles. I want a vault to go to. I want this raid boss to try to tackle, and you can't do it alone, you know? And I don't know, that just seems like that would be a great way to like, it seems like you'd be copying Destiny, but I don't even care. Like it would be fun to play because I love the Borderlands universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but like you, Kyle, I didn't have the desire to keep playing it. If there's more story content or more, like, I don't really care too much about the guns. There's not really any gear that you can unlock. You know, it's more about the character skill trees as opposed to gear. There's not like a set of shoulder pads that you can buy that's really good for Mo's. Like that's not really a thing. But if there's like more story content and like more levels that you can gain, like I would be so down for that. Like I'd play that again in a heartbeat because it's so fun. You know, it's fun to shoot stuff in that game. So is there, Teeter? I mean, I don't know if there's. I haven't looked at it. I really haven't been paying attention at all.
Hey, what? Like stuff for like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like
is there more
this big
story?
update that they did they like come out with like more story or more side missions and stuff like that? Like more to do?
It says for underneath new content, it says takedown at the Malawan Black Site. It says Lorelei has recruited the Vault Hunters to destroy top secret weapon Malawan has been developing at their Black Site. You and your squad should prepare for an extreme challenge because this content is balanced for 4 players at level 50. You can gain access to the Black Site via a mission found on Sanctuary after completing the main campaign with the characters.
Okay, so it sounds like there
their
is
biggest
a
thing.
new activity. Yeah.
Yeah.
We should jump in and give that thing a go just to see what it's like and see if there is some replayability. Like, is there a reason to do this thing more than once? That would be what I would look for, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They haven't drilled that into my brain yet. Like Destiny, I know there's a reason why I'm doing things over and over again. And the reason is it's Destiny. Like that's the reason why you do it. And I seem kind of crazy, but there's like a whole bunch of players that are out there like me that just want to keep doing it over and over again. Before we started the podcast, Teeter, I don't know if you were here, but I was telling Kyle about my hours in Destiny 1 and 2. And like in Destiny 1, I had like 1,200 hours or 1,100 and some change hours, and I was number 17 on my friends list. The number 1 guy had 4,500 hours played in Destiny 1. Like, that is insane. It's 190 days. He literally has spent 190 days playing. So that is like the amount of hours people like pour into Destiny. I want to be able to do that in Borderlands. That's what I would love to do. So I actually am interested. I want to go check it out. I want to see if it's got some replayability. It'd be really cool if it did.
The Vaulted Glass is still the best raid, just saying.
Agreed. And I don't think anyone would argue. That's not true. The internet argues about everything. I
haven't played the new one, so I don't know, but
I haven't played the new one either. I'm raid ready, actually. I'm ready to play it. I need to put a group together and go after it, but it seems like lately we've all been trying to jump on Call of Duty or Apex or God, what was the other game we're playing? Need for Speed. God, why is my brain not working? I think it's been an hour almost. That's why my brain stops working after an hour of thinking about this stuff. Teeter, do you want to reflect, like you said, on some of the games that have come out in the last, I don't know, the last year, it has been sort of a phenomenal year, I feel like. But I'll wait to see what you say about it.
Well, I would say definitely as a whole, there definitely was a lot of games. Like just between like when did Apex come out this year? Or was that last year?
Yes. Nope, this year.
Yeah, so you have Apex, you got Borderlands, you have Call of Duty, Need for Speed. Uh,
Doom
Battlefield
comes
5
out
was last year.
tomorrow.
Yeah, there's that. There's a lot of like good games for like a lot of different
Gears
people
5.
and what they want to play. That's for sure.
Yep.
Especially towards winding down towards the end of the year. I like how Call of Duty released in October, so November. I
You
don't
do?
know. You do? Yeah. Why not?
Like, what's the difference? Like, what if it was in October instead of November? Like, how does that change for you though?
Because I feel like all the games, like mostly, because I feel like a lot of the games, just like in general, they released like in November and December. So like if you were playing a game, you had like a game come out every week, so you couldn't really enjoy each game. As you were saying earlier, how we like flip games so quickly. So it's usually that's why you have like 3 or 4 games come out within like 2 or 3 weeks of each other.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
like if
That's
so
very
like
true.
next year when like Battlefield, I think will come out with a new game. They release in November, I believe. So if you have like Call of Duty and like Battlefield kind of releasing towards the same like release date on top of like Madden or whatever, you know what I mean? Just all these other games. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's called the corporate dollar. That's what people wanted. That's what the companies are trying to do. They realize that parents spend the most money on video games in the fourth quarter, November and December, because of Christmas, and they want to take advantage of that. They don't want to release a game in June, which is kind of irritating because June and July and August, like, those are pretty dry months for video games.
Yeah, they really are.
And I'm hyped as fuck to play games in June because E3 just came out and showed me all the new toys, and I want to play with them right away. So I'm hyped to play video games in June, July, and August, and there is nothing. And kids are on summer break, and they got nothing. So they're outside playing with dirt. Not really. They're probably just
Dirt.
on
they're just
TikTok and Snapchat.
playing their old
But-
games.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I would love to play a big AAA title in June, July, or August. It'd be really rad. The problem with that though is I think from the game manufacturer's perspective, they are then forced to put out a very good game that kids are going to want to beg their parents to play. You know, and
Yeah.
that's, I don't know, that maybe that added pressure is not something that they want to toy with, considering it costs literally millions of dollars to make a video game, and then it's an investment. They're rolling the dice. They're like, we're gonna spend $10 million making this game. We hope it's profitable. Like, that's how it works, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, right up before the new Destiny DLC stuff came out and the Apex Season 2 and stuff like that, I'd literally like spend hours just looking through like the Microsoft like game store and stuff, like, you know, Game Pass games, just like scrolling through them. Like, nothing looked fun. Like, there was nothing for a while.
Right.
Like, geez, like, I don't want to play any, like, this all looks like it sucks. And then finally, like, something came out, you know? It's like now now I got Call of Duty. I got all this, you know, tiers I still got to rank through on Apex. You know, there's like all kinds of stuff to do now. It's like, geez.
Yeah, I think like
it
the
seems like.
first. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna
All
say,
right.
it seems like we go on. Seems like we go on like these long like dry spells of just nothing, where you just get bored of playing the same thing over and over again, and then it's like, geez, man, waiting.
I think the first game that came out after that dry spell was Borderlands, right? That came out like the beginning of September.
Oh yeah, yeah, true.
Yep.
That gave us
Yep.
a good bit of hours to play.
Oh yeah, I dumped a bunch of hours into that for sure. I
At
even
least,
played
like,
the
with
game.
the-
I played the game twice. I have 2 characters,
did?
max level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both do.
Yeah, we played it twice. So that was, I mean, see, that already was a lot of grinding for that game. Like, Kyle,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
you played the story. The thing about playing the
Mhm.
story twice, like, and to get your character Teeter up to max level again, we'd have to play the story again. Like,
Mhm.
we only got 2 of my characters max level. I think one of yours is still like pretty low. Like,
Yeah, it's like half.
we would have to play it again, you know? Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm just not down with that. You can't skip the cutscenes. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. Anywhere in those patch notes, and feel free to answer me a little bit later in the show here, so you can look through the patch notes. But did they add the ability to skip through the cutscenes? Because
I'm
that
not
was a
sure.
big reason why I didn't want to play it again.
The cuts.
I'll look though.
Yeah, maybe look and then let me know at the end of the show here or something. But yeah, I was curious about that. Like, did they really add that? Because that was the reason why I didn't want to play it the second time. The fucking cutscenes are so long, dude. It's like a movie or something. I think it's time. I think it's story time. Oh, before that, let's get this out of the way, because Need for Speed put out a patch today. So there was a new patch that they did that I think it might be worth just kind of running over real quick. I'll just run through it so that we can update the audience. They made some changes to the environment. So, like the night race intros. I don't know if you remember this, Teeter, but there's all those cars that are like the spectators. There's a bunch of like spectator cars with NPC players that are going crazy and whatever on the sides.
Oh yeah.
They got rid of those temporarily.
Why?
Because if you remember, when you go to start the screen, like start the race, there's like that little delay whenever the transition, the little bars scroll across. There's always that little delay, and then there was also those black pixelated stuff coming from the bottom of the screen every time.
Mhm.
So, in an effort to fix that stuff, they just wanted to make it a little bit less demanding on the system. And they got rid of all of the spectator cars. There's no fire, no visual effects. So it's going to be kind of boring in the middle, like in the beginning of a night race. There's no smoke, no fire, and no spectator cars. Yeah, I said that. Which they say is not ideal. But they're going to be adding it back in at a later time. They just want to be able to temporarily fix it so that it runs smooth at the beginning of the race while it's loading up. They fixed a few things. There were some players apparently reporting that they didn't get any bank or rep rewards for playing the first few races in the game, like right at the beginning of the story missions. Doesn't really affect us because we're already max level, but some players weren't earning those rewards. So they fixed that. They fixed the inventory sync error. So there was this error where if you would play online, you would have a certain inventory of cars, and then if you switch to solo mode at any point, like the next time you logged in, your inventory wouldn't match, and you would have to click the sync button to sync the inventories. And what it would do is, whichever inventory you were logging into, if that one had like one less car in it, then you wouldn't have your full inventory. So you'd end up like losing cars, you would lose bankroll, you would lose a bunch of things. So they actually fixed that. So they're like real sorry, apparently, according to this, but they fixed it. So nobody should be losing cars or bank anymore. They did fix a majority of the crashes and freezes. So I mean, I had a bunch of them. The game was as good as it was really, really buggy. Like, I had a bunch of crashes and freezes, and servers were always constantly shutting down. So they seem to have fixed those things. And that's honestly it. So they really went for, this patch was like really heavy on the maintenance side. They didn't add anything new. They were trying to make sure that the game was running a little bit more smooth. So I don't know. That's good, in my opinion. Let's move on to story time. I'm excited. Let's hear the story of Teeter's butthole today. I want to know what happened. You took a trip somewhere yesterday. Did it happen today or yesterday?
Today. Well, I went up
Today.
yesterday, but everything
Okay.
happened today.
Everything happened. Okay, so tell us. Okay, first of all, what were you doing? Like, where were you going, or where did you go and why? Let's hear that first.
I went up to the maps, which is crap. I can't. It's an acronym. I can't remember what it stands for. It's like Hold on, I'm
So
gonna
you went
Google
to
that real quick.
So you went to
While I
an
talk to you.
unknown location. You went to an unknown location and something happened with your butt. Continue.
So maps is like where all like the new, I guess, applicants or enlistees go for if you're interested in joining the military. So you have people like from all branches: Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, yada yada yada. It's pretty much like a giant doctor's visit. And it's a lot of waiting. Like they do everything between like, pee testing, blood work, your eyesight, your ability to see color, your what's it called? Your depth perception, everything. Then they like after all that, this is where the butthole story comes in. Is like after you get your blood work, they have you go across the hallway, and they have you take off all your clothes, so down to your underwear. Mind you, there's like 15, 16 guys, and I would say not that big of a room. Like we're kind of like shoulder to shoulder, and it smells like ass.
Wait. So you go across the hall, and they have you strip down to your underwear, and you're literally shoulder to shoulder with other guys that are also stripped down to their underwear.
Yes.
And there's no female in the room, right?
There is. There's a female and a
okay.
male, but they this isn't like where they like have you like do your physical and stuff. Like they're like gonna test your mobility, so they're gonna have you like walk on your tippy toes like 5 paces up and down, like do this like weird movements. They just want to see like make sure that everyone's like someone doesn't have a dislocated shoulder like issues or like what I mean. So like everyone's full mobility.
Yeah. Got it.
But what sucked for me is like when we first arrived at Maps, I was the first one through like the security checkout and the first one into like the medical bay. So my folder, get this little thing on the top that says #1 priority, which means I'm the first to do everything. So we get
Awesome.
all done. There's like the medical guy. It's like, all right, everyone sit on the bench and wait by the door. I'm like, all right, I'm like maybe midway, like halfway, like towards the end of the bench. And then he's like, oh, you're #1, you're first. I'm like, oh no. Because prior we had this briefing with this like laminated sheet of everything that they're gonna do to us. And like part of it was like it said like anus / like rectal exam. It's like it was like a paragraph long and what they're gonna do
Oh
down there.
Jesus!
It sounds terrible.
Everyone was
Give us
scared.
a sheet of what they're gonna do to us.
So I get in the
shit.
room. We're still just in our underwear. So I lay down on the cot and like she's pressing all over my body, my organs, like literally everywhere. She tells me to stand up. She's like, stand on that orange tile and face the wall. I'm like, all right. She's like, put on your pants. So I did. So I pulled on my underwear, and so then she like pushes my back a little bit and like spreads my cheeks and busts out her flashlight. I see the light between my legs, and then told me to stand up. And then she gives me like a reach around and like fondles each one of my nut, like really detailed. Like she was like polishing it almost, like that's how much she was doing each one. And then had to like she like separated like each fold of like my scrotum and my sack and like my dick area. Dude, it was I don't know.
Man, that is like intense. Don't you think she was just having a little fun? Maybe you were the
I don't
first
know.
guy. It was probably cold in the room. It's doctor's office. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll just give this guy a little bit of fun here in the beginning.
It wasn't fun. This lady's like looked like she was 80. Mind you, there's a dude also in that room. He's like looking at it like I have a bystander, so I have an audience.
He's just like, he's off to the side just studying, like, alright.
Yeah, he's like taking notes of everything. Like she would say something, he'll like write it down while watching. I'm like, all right, this is kind of weird, but whatever. I felt violated.
God, that's hilarious.
But it did say like on the sheet, it's like they'll just do like a visual exam, but then like it said if anything seems to be like out of order, they have to do like a full exam. So someone could get like 3-knuckled if something didn't look right.
Oh, Jesus. So apparently your butthole looked right because she didn't feel the need to go in. She just reached around, which I don't know. I mean, if it was me, I'd be probably pretty thankful for that.
See, I wonder if she used a flashlight and everybody else. Like my butt cheeks are kind of hairy, so I don't know if she need a flashlight to see through the forest or I don't know.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh
shit.
It's hard to get in there, dude. She had to flashlight into the bushes to make sure there weren't any, any leftover cherries just hanging around.
What's she
I'm sure you're
looking
all
at
clean.
what's she looking at with the flashlight for though? Like, was she's gonna stare into
My
it?
booty hole.
It's fucking dark in there, dude. I
don't know.
I got it too.
Like,
I was more
what is she
upset that
I'm trying to figure out what she's looking for.
like like for like hemorrhoids and shit.
Yeah,
oh,
that's-
maybe.
I
Yeah.
guess, dude.
And plus,
Well,
the thing
what
I'm
would a
upset
hemorrhoid-
about is like I've never seen my own butthole, and I had to show someone else before I've even seen it.
You snap a pic while you're down there.
Wait, you've never seen your own butthole? Like you haven't
When
tried
do
to
I ever
look
get
at
a
it in the mirror?
chance? Am I supposed
mean,
to
I
like
don't
bend
know, you-
over and like spread my cheeks while looking back into the mirror? Seems a little too extra. Grab one
It
of
is
those
pretty
handheld
extra,
mirrors.
I feel like to see a butthole, you might need at least one. You need one mirror for sure, but you might need at least 2 mirrors though. If your flexibility and your movement isn't good, you're old like me and kind of fat, it'd be kind of hard to see your butthole. You might need 2 mirrors, I feel like. I don't know.
I'm gonna work out the technique and we'll get back to him on the next podcast.
Next podcast we'll get back to you guys on the technique of how to properly look at your own asshole.
So guys, we figured it out. We've come up with the easy solution.
Crack the code. Next YouTube video. How to.
Oh my god.
Oh. All right. Well, that was a great way to end the podcast. Thank you so
For sure.
much for everyone who did listen to this episode. They stuck with us. This is the longest podcast we've done, an hour and 13 minutes or so. That's awesome. All right. Famous outro. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.